I think we also want them to be good critical thinkers who can examine an issue and see it from all sides and craft messages that appeal to a specific audience. So that means they've also got to know something about research and how to examine polls and how to look at demographic data and figure out not only what they're going to say, but who they're going to say it to. So we're looking for a broad range of skills. Well, we try to give them a broad overview of what the political environment is like, what political communication is like across the board, and then we narrow it down to learning the specific writing skills that you need to write a press release, a speech, craft a message, write a basic memo, because that's a lot of what political communicators do. A press secretary is often not writing for an external audience, but an internal audience, writing to one or two people, so they've got to learn those kind of skills. And then we try to recreate a political campaign or a public relations, a public affairs campaign, and put the students in that role and have them write what in some cases is real communication, real press releases, or play the role of a communications director in a campaign and carry that through an entire semester, so that when they get through with the semester, they have a portfolio of real writing that they've done in sort of a real but somewhat simulated environment that they can take to an employer. And I found over the years that that portfolio that's been created out of that last semester, that capstone class, has been something that's been very helpful to our students in getting good jobs and working for members of Congress, other elected officials, or in campaigns. The best part of teaching here, by far, is the relationships that you establish with students, getting to know young people, seeing them come in that freshman or sophomore year, not really knowing what they want to do, maybe not having all the skills they need, but seeing and recognizing a lot of enthusiasm, seeing a student or two who have really great promise, and nurturing those students, giving them opportunities, helping them through class, but also working with them out of class in all kinds of situations, helping them with interns, summer jobs, that kind of thing. And then watching them as they leave here as graduates, confident, skilled, going out and almost immediately getting really good jobs in a political environment, or on Capitol Hill or down at the state capitol, and doing really exciting, great work. The one thing that I tell prospective students in political communication is that campaigns are never going away. Politics is always a growth industry in this country. Government is not going to go away. So if you're looking for a job as a communicator in a campaign, or in a public affairs arena, or on Capitol Hill or at the state capitol, those institutions are not going away, and there will always be jobs for people who know how to write, who know how to communicate, who know how to persuade. So those jobs are always going to be there. There's always great opportunity in that area, and I'm excited about the work that our students are able to do when they leave here. I've seen so many students do great things after they leave Manship, get great jobs, but in some ways I'm most proud of the students who do great work while they're still enrolled in school. We had a student a few years ago who got a summer internship in Washington working for a Louisiana congressman. And while she was up there during that summer, the press secretary resigned abruptly. And so they turned to her. She'd been working with the press secretary. They turned to her and they said, "Would you like to be the interim press secretary for the rest of the summer?" So here she was, a junior in the Manship School, suddenly elevated to the position of press secretary to a member of Congress. And when the summer was over and it was time for her to go back to Baton Rouge to finish her senior year, they asked her to stay. They asked her just basically to drop out of school and "We want you to stay and be our press secretary." And she said, "I can't. I've got to go back and finish up my degree." But I was so proud of her that she had learned so much and had done such a great job that even as an undergraduate college student, that they, as congressman, wanted her to stay and be his full-time press secretary. So every 4 years there's a presidential campaign, and for the last two presidential campaigns in '08 and in 2012, we've taken a group of about 24 political communication journalism students to Iowa the week before the Iowa caucuses, and we spend a week running around Iowa, generally the Des Moines area, and attending all kinds of rallies and campaign meetings. And both times, all of our students have been able to meet and talk to every one of the presidential candidates: Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Mike Huckabee, Mitt Romney, every one of them, Ron Paul, all of them, because Iowa is such an intimate place. It's still, the campaign is very small, the rallies are not that large, and so we give our students an up-close, personal, very intimate experience in a presidential campaign. It's really a transformative experience. One of our students in 2008 was Ginger Gibson, who was a political communications student writing for the Reveille. She did really great work for the Reveille and for our blog in 2008. In 2012, when we took the students back to Iowa, we ran into Ginger, who is now a Politico reporter and at the time was assigned to cover Newt Gingrich for Politico, and then after Mitt Romney got the nomination, she was assigned to cover the Romney campaign. So 4 years earlier, she was a student on the trip. 4 years later, she was covering the race for one of the major news organizations in the country, Politico.